Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to the latest episode of the podcast. I have a guest with me today, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Right on, David. Thanks for having me. We share the same name. So I'm Dave Moerman, and I'm based in Canada, just outside Vancouver, BC. So I'm a 35-year-old entrepreneur and been in the game now for 15 years, which is crazy. So I'm sure we'll get into all what that entails.
All right, excellent. Thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate it. I know our audience is going to be able to get some good value out of this. Just tell us how, for a minute, how you got started.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of through high school, man, was really just wanting to go to university and get a soccer scholarship, which I was able to do, which was great. And I ended up getting like back-to-back concussions that ended up forcing me out of the game I love so much. And it was one day at business school. My friend walked past a campus recruiter at the time, and he gave her a kind of a CD-ROM in 2009 that said, run your own painting business and make $20,000. So she gave that over to me and said, hey, I know you've been mentioning kind of business opportunity stuff. You should maybe check this out. So I ended up signing on with a franchise called University First Class Painters. They're based out in Eastern Canada. And I was awarded a franchise as like a 19-year-old turning 20 years old to run the Abbotsford franchise in British Columbia. And did $52,000 in my first summer painting. I lost 15 pounds. I learned the ins and outs, man, of door knocking and selling and, you know, working 16-hour days. So that was like my first taste of entrepreneurship. And I ended up running that business for 4 years, all through college. And then I laddered up and actually bought into the professional painting franchise and ran a painting business for another 6 years. So that's a big part of my business, is being a painting contractor. And the last 7 years, I've actually transitioned into creating a washing company. We've got into Christmas lights, and also the background behind me. We've coached hundreds of home service business owners now scale up their home service businesses. So it's been kind of a 3-part journey, man, from painting to building out my washing business and building out HSBC.
Nice. So that's an excellent path that you've been on, and being able to, I feel like multiple journeys.
Yeah.
Multiple journeys. Can you tell us about some of the lessons that you've learned along the way, and some things that you really would look back on and reflect and say, maybe I would do this differently?
Yeah, lots, man. I guess first lesson is I think sometimes when we start our businesses, we think we're gonna have, you know, all the leads in the world come to us, and like just like starting a business is actually like the easy part. You can start a business in a weekend, but actually building it sustainably certainly takes some time. So like going back to my early days, you know, I was assigned a mentor in part of the franchise to help me grow, and he was really pushing me to get into the door knocking model. That's what a lot of these student painting businesses do. And I was very shy at the time and kind of said, I'm not going to door knock. And I chose to just deliver flyers on my rollerblades because I'm like, I'm scared. I don't want to talk to people. And hindsight, man, I did a whole year of that where I never knocked on a door. And I, you know, contrast to my second year, we did very little flyering and went all in on the door knocking, and we doubled our sales to 105,000. So I think that's the first key lesson is you've got to, I call it passionately promote your business. And I think that's something that, whether that's digital, online or offline, you as the owner, you're selling, like promoting like 24/7. Just me being here, my brand, it's like, okay, is this guy full of crap or does he actually know what he's talking about? Right. Wherever you go, you are your brand and you're promoting it to some degree. So that'd be like the first lesson, man, was um don't undervalue like the presence of you, the business owner, that you are always promoting your business. So that's like a huge, huge first lesson that I had.
Yes. And like you said, it's easy to start a business. You can start a business over like you said, over the course of a weekend, but actually getting people to notice your business and being able to strategically right,
Mhm.
have that plan to be able to go out and say, okay, I need to be able to pick the best avenue or avenues to be able to make sure that I'm maximizing my visibility in front of my target audience, which is so important.
Yep, totally, man. I think another mistake I had too was learning over the course of years that like business is all about the people you have on your team. I think it's Layla Hermosi has a quote, and it's like the right people on your team will make your business a dream or will make it a nightmare. And I didn't learn about this till a handful of years back, where I learned about something called core values. And we work with a lot of entry trade businesses growing to $1 million, $2 million. We sometimes think we just want to get someone in the truck or on the tools, but really a lot of these skills, man, can be taught, especially when you look in like the cleaning niche, the painting niche, the landscaping niche. So you really want to get good at running what I call a behavioral based interview and asking strategic questions that probe in on what someone's core values are. This is get a little high level, so let's get specific. For me, one of my main core values personally and at my company is the term excellence, right? So whatever we do, we want to do it at a 10 out of 10 level and not settle for good enough. So I live that out in my own personal life as well. If I'm committing to something like this show, I'm not just going to show up and not put my best effort forward. So that is a core value that is honed into who Dave Moerman is, and I carry that out through how I live in my businesses. So you want to get good at interviewing and figuring out who's a core value fit with my company. And I've hired almost 200 staff now over the years. So I've had people work in my organizations that were not core value fits. And then the issue with that is they don't make decisions with the business owner's best interest. And that becomes very troublesome when you're trying to grow a company. So I would just slow down on the hiring and really get good at dissecting like what someone's core values actually are. Because we read on Facebook, man, oh, this person, there's no good people in the labor force, right? It's actually owners that don't know how to interview properly and screen properly for getting like really good people on in their organization.
No, I agree. And it's, the owners have to be able to view and value rather the importance of being able to get good people inside of the organization, take the time to be able to help them grow, effectively know how to interview,
Mhm.
and being able to set expectations, right? It's not just a one-sided street, it's a two-way street, right? You
Mhm.
want to make sure that not only does the person meet your expectations, but that their expectations are met too, so that they can stay on your team and they see themselves growing with inside of the organization.
Totally, man. And especially in trades, like you can ascend the right people up your organizational chart like a lot faster than you could, let's say, if you were $100 million, corporation. You can move people, right? My operations manager today in my home service business started with me 5 years ago as a technician, right? For 17, $18 an hour. Now he's running our operations. He's running our entire department of crews. So that's just a case in point. You can move people up. And a quote I love to say is a small business means a big opportunity, which is like exactly the point. You can move people into leadership positions. And like, honestly, man, biggest takeaway in 15 years is like when you build leaders in your company, that's really when business, like that's when you're cooking with gas. Like business really becomes fun when it's not just Dave doing everything, but it's actually like the team running the business that allows Dave, the CEO, to actually strategically plan, like, where's this thing heading in the next 6, 12, 18 months. And for me, like, that's really the fun part, is the growth opportunity of the company.
That's excellent. And with that, and strategically, when we talk about growth, we can look at transition, right? What are some key strategies that you would say that, home service business owner needs to be able to implement to take themselves out of the field and then into mainly managing the business instead of working constantly inside of it and being everything?
What a good question. I think, David, the best thing a business owner can do today, listening to our talk, is actually do like what's called a time audit. So if you actually look at, let's say, your last 30 days, as it pertains to your business, and a lot of entrepreneurs, David, are working, let's say, 60-hour weeks, right? Like, just go, go, go. I would go so far as to say half of those working hours, so let's say 30 of the 60, are actually taken up with, let's say, $25 an hour tasks, right? I used to say $15 an hour. Now, as inflation and wages move, I would say 25 an hour. Someone listens in 10 years, maybe it's 45 an hour, right? But the concept remains that being on the tools on the job site, or being on the back end in the office doing the administration, those two departments hold a lot of home service business owners back from growing, because those are the departments where the fires happen, right? There's an issue on the job site, customers upset. I need to get this invoice out. I need to schedule this crew. Those are all recurring tasks that need to get done, but they're cancerous, in my opinion, if they get done by the business owner. So I would go so far as to say the 80-20 rule, right? Of 60 hours, I would say there's really only 12 hours, that 12% of the 60 or 20% of the 60, that are moving the needle on the business. So, like, how that happens, because a lot of us are on limited budgets, I would say, is you build up your sales and marketing machine so strong that you just get booked up. Like, for us, when we get 3 weeks out with our schedule, we put another truck on the road, because we found that's customers' time they will wait for service. If we say, hey, we're booking out 5 weeks, 6 weeks for roof cleaning, window washing, gutter cleaning, it's too long. So we need to have capacity to serve our customers. So for me, getting off the tools was just a function of our marketing and sales being so dialed in. And, like, the business is not how clean the windows is. The business is actually how well your systems run, how happy your clients are. So you're effectively running a customer service business that happens to wash windows. And I think too many trades business owners are run by these business owners that delude themselves and think that if the windows are super clean, they'll have a booming business, but they miss, like, all the other processes in between.
I totally agree. And so many valid points there. And like you said, it's they miss the other things in between, and they just figure, hey, look, if the windows are perfect, then like everything's just going to be okay. And it's no the other steps and things you do along the way that really sets the precedence for moving forward.
Totally, man. And I think, like, we all have, if we work full time, we all have 2,000 hours a year, right? So if you look at someone, let's just say, making, like, netting $500,000, right? Their hourly rate's going to be $250 an hour for their time. So they're not running to Home Depot to go purchase another ladder for their crew, or running into Sherwin-Williams to get another gallon of eggshell white paint, right? They are putting people in place to do that. And I think whatever market you're in, I would say $20 to $50 an hour, you can have amazing people run the day-to-day of your business. That's just what I found in all the companies I built in that hourly range. And so, if an owner wants to, like, net out 100 grand from their business, which they should be, because they're taking all the risk to scale the thing, their time right there is $50 an hour. So whatever they touch, if they want to make 100 grand, $50 an hour. So too many business owners give themselves a pay cut every single day to jump in and be Superman. And if we're talking in football, man, too many business owners are being the quarterback. Literally, you need to be the coach, and ideally you need to be up in the press box, like, building the business of the organization. But if we just stop being like, my biggest goal, man, in all my companies is be the least important person as the owner. Like, do not be needed. And that's why I read the book, The E Myth, 14 times now. I read it every year because I can't drill it in my head enough. Work on your business, Dave. Don't work in your business. And that's something that has always really guided me over the years to really audit my time and look at where's my time the highest value.
Oh, that's excellent. And you said, 14 times reading the book. And that's amazing within itself because constantly we need reminders, right? It's not sometimes fine just to be able to do something one time or to read something and digest information just once. It takes multiple times to constantly remind ourselves, constantly get into the mindset and the routine to be
Mhm.
able to say, okay, this is the path, this is the course I'm following, because it's so easy, like you said, to come in, hey, I'm going to save the day and I'm going to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
But like you said, you really need to be, up in the press box.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I would say if there's three books that have really guided me, would be The E Myth Revisited. Who Not How is a fantastic recent book on how to delegate. And then I would say How to Win Friends and Influence People helps tremendously, helped me so much do in-home selling with my painting business. So those, like, there's lots of great books, but those three like really helped, I think, build my business acumen. And then there are entrepreneurs I met, men, that just read and read and they want to read a book every week. I'm like, that's insane because you need time to actually implement the book. So I personally think now reading a book a quarter is good. If you only read 4 books a year, but you implemented what was said, you'd be further ahead than the person just like reading. And I've been that guy before, man. Just like reading, reading, reading to say I did it. It doesn't really like stick.
Yeah, and like you read, and sometimes it's not, hey, I'm gonna read a chapter a night. It's sometimes, hey, maybe it's just a page, right? Maybe it's a page or two. And if you can get the most value out of those 2 pages and wind up implementing it, then that's where you start because everybody's not going to start on the same level.
Yep. Well, a lot of trades business owners are on the road a lot too, right? Driving either
Mhm.
to site or to meet customers or go see suppliers. And so that's just like a great time to turn off the radio and actually, like, a mentor of mine called it windshield university, which I loved, right? Like you're maximizing your time with or listening to like a show like this, right? I always try and put something in your brain, but to have this goal to pump out book after book, I don't know, it doesn't really resonate with me.
No, like being a consumer of valuable information, things that are going to be able to help you, personally, be able to grow, different things that you can take into your mind, so it could settle in there, and then it's easy to just say, "Hey, I'm going here in my truck, or I'm going here in my car. Let me turn on
Mhm.
the radio, maybe some music, maybe it's sports radio, maybe it's the news." And you could substitute those things, like you said, by listening an audiobook.
Mhm.
It will go a long way.
100%.
Mhm. Now, how do you help your clients be able to achieve that balance of, hey, I want to be able to have this successful business. I want to be able to have this certain lifestyle, but I also want to balance my time too.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. Like, I think I tell all entrepreneurs, like, the first 3 years of growing like, if you're a very ambitious business owner, probably because you're listening to a show like this, your first 3 years is like pretty full on. Like, to have this work-life balance in your first three, like, it's extremely tough. So, for me, at least, in all 4 of my companies have taken me the first 3 years of working like flat out, like 60, 70 hour work weeks, like go, go, go. Now I'm married with a 9 month old. It's tough, man. Like, if I started a company today, I wouldn't have the 70 hours available to just like go flat out. So a couple guiding principles for me is always taking Sundays off, non-negotiable. Like, my phone goes in airplane mode. Sundays are for family, for church, for really recharging mentally. Maybe I'll play some golf or something. I don't really work evenings. Again, like, you got to get through those first 36 months to get a little bit of your time back. But I think, man, it really comes down to what kind of lifestyle does the business owner want? And I think a lot of business owners I've met like actually just don't have hobbies outside of their business, which I think is kind of sad. And I think business can be fun, but I think you got to find those other activities that fuel you up as an entrepreneur. For me, it's like I said, golf. It's taking my dog out for a walk. It's going to happy hour with my wife. It's going on trips. Like there's other things that fill me up than just business. And I think that makes me a better entrepreneur because I'm able to actually unplug from the business. And trust me, it's not easy, but it's a muscle to really develop as you grow. So I think that's the biggest thing is get clear on the type of lifestyle you want from your business, because I can't remember a day, man, that I've finished my to-do list, honestly, because there's so much in my brain I want to get done. But for me now, being a father, like every day at 4 p.m. is a hard shut off to go for a walk with my dog and my son. So yeah, it just comes down to boundaries. But I think it's Jocko Willink says like discipline equals freedom. So me knowing at 4 o'clock the alarm's going off, I'm done. I actually get like a lot of crap done before then because it's like it's constrained, it's confined, right? But that's a willing choice that I make now for my stage of life.
No, that's excellent that you're able to really, take that time and unwind and step back because it's, you have the business, but you have family, you have other priorities, things that are important in life. And, time goes by quickly and you blink
Mhm.
and those
Yeah.
years are gone and you can't get them back.
Yeah, man. I think like obviously we start our businesses usually to like probably for three things, right? To make money, to get our time back, and then to like plant our flag in the ground and be like, hey, I built this company, right? Or get to employ all these people and create great lives for them. Bit of like more of a legacy thing. So I think a lot of us get to achieving our first goal. I forget the stat, man, but it's something like once you make 150 or 200 grand or something, like to make more money, it doesn't really like increase your fulfillment and happiness. So I think like figure out for your family how much you need to run to make sure you can take the family to Mexico or go on that trip or go do whatever. Figure out what that number is. Once you've got that and you've saved for a rainy day, man, I'm more interested in really the time freedom, being wealthy with my time, that second point, which is like if you can accomplish your income goal on a 35-hour work week, you'll probably be happier than having to work 60 hours and maybe make an extra 100 grand. It's like, is that really worth the trade-off? So I think just like changing the lens that we look at our businesses through. And for me, it's always this trade-off from income to time. And there's other things outside of business that I actually want to invest my time in. And that's where like my decisions get made then.
Yeah, no, that's excellent to be able to look at it from that viewpoint. And like you said, it is the fact that, that 35 hours and that money that you may make over the course of time of saying, okay, my time each week equals out to this. And, but, I could be hovering around 60, 70, but I could be making this
Mhm.
much extra money. You have to step back, maybe, I don't have time to take the trip with the family, maybe if I do have time to take the trip with the family, I'm just so exhausted. I don't even get a chance.
Yeah.
I don't even get
Yeah.
a chance to enjoy the festivities like everybody else is because I'm just so worn out. And like you said, you have to ask yourself, is that really worth it, right?
Yeah, man. And we carry such mental like load too as business owners. You know, I can be away on a vacation with my family, but like my brain can enter into business really quick, thinking about this employee or this opportunity or whatnot. And that all counts as time as well. So like just because you're not physically at your office or on a customer's job site doesn't mean you're not working. Like as you grow your business, you really get paid for solving the larger complex problems, and that doesn't mean like physically having to be there. So I think sometimes we neglect that and we actually think tangibly how often are we clocking in, but this mental component is actually the one that can strategically move the business, and those hours need to be counted as well.
Yeah, no, the hours definitely need to be accounted for and spaced out and allocated to the right things. Now, in your, coaching business, how do you foster the relationship with your coaching clients to be able to kind of help them achieve their goals, and
Mhm.
then to be able to assess like what's needed because everybody's needs are different, right? So how do you go
Yeah.
about doing that?
Yeah, man, definitely. It's a great question. So for us, this is not a coaching program that makes you feel good or gets you motivated or we do 75 hard together. Like it's not that. We work with ambitious entrepreneurs that say, "Hey, I want to build, let's say, $1 million business, and I think I could do it on my own. It would probably take me 5 or 7 years." But partnering with HSBC, let's do it in 2 or 3 years type of thing. So they're trying to collapse time on their goal. They're not necessarily wanting to set up this like 4 hour work week where they're chilling on the beach and everything runs. They still want to be working hard. They just want to work on the right things. So for us, it all starts with an assessment when they come in. Our program, our flagship program's 9 months. So our members will come in, they'll be assigned one of our awesome coaches who will meet with them one on one and basically build out a custom plan with them over the next 9 months based on like what their problems are right now, right? If someone gets onboarded in January and they're in, the northern US and the winter's rough, well, they're gonna have more time to actually be able to build systems probably in multiple departments versus if they get onboarded, let's say now they're in their peak busy spring season. They're not on a computer for 20 hours a week. Like we've got maybe 5 hours a week. We got to be really strategic with what they're going to be working on. So it all starts with a customized plan. And then they get into a group where they get in a cohort with other businesses that are paired up with them, where they're on a weekly call with business owners that are of a similar revenue size going through similar challenges. So that's how we've structured it, man. And yeah, we've been able to help now just about 250 business owners in the trades create more income and freedom from their business. So it's been really fulfilling for me to see like, hey, I'm pretty much coaching the person where I was 4 or 5 years ago, stuck at 300K. How do I hire the someone that sticks around? How do I get an office manager? How much money should my business be making? All these things you like lay awake and wonder. I decided not to franchise my house washing and painting business, which I still own today, and instead I'm licensing basically a business in a box through HSBC, saying, "Hey, here's your 100 point systems. Here's everything that you need." So it's been very rewarding for me because I think when you change someone's small business, you can effectively change the direction of their life, which is like extremely satisfying.
Well, that's excellent. Being able to have that clear plan and that clear path of, where you want to be at, and then where your clients want to be at, right? They want to facilitate to be able to have growth, and they want to cut down the time to be able to do it. So, like you said, you're just
Mhm.
reflecting back on where you were at, right, 3, 4 years ago at that
Yeah.
and being able to help move them along. And that's excellent value because you've done it. You've been able to be successful. You know the pain points, right?
Yeah.
The processes and things that are needed to be able to get to that next level. And a good friend of mine always say like, hey, you get to this level, and then it's like, okay, it's like a game of Mario, and then you knock down.
Yeah.
You defeat this level, and then you get to a certain level, and then you're like, man, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
Every level has its own devil, man.
Yeah.
I love them. I love the Mario reference. But for me, man, it really came down to seeing in the marketplace in home services, like obviously the franchise model kind of got going with 1-800 got junk, right? Back in the day in the early 2000s. And it's a great model. What I found though is that with exposure now to the internet and virtual assistants and how many businesses have grown now, I was like, man, for someone to pay, let's say 50 to 100 grand up front for a franchise and then marry up to pay a royalty fee, it just didn't make sense to me. And so I said, like, our program is 13.5K for someone to work with us for 9 months. That I said, man, once they're done with us, if they want to stay with us longer, that's great. If they want to go off, they now have their business in a box built out. The value is significantly better, in my opinion, than purchasing a franchise and marrying yourself to a royalty for your entire time you own the business. And I just, I was in a franchise and it was good for what I learned, but at a certain point, the royalty fee I was transacting did not, like, it was holding back me from hiring middle level management. So that's why I stepped out of my agreement from painting and built an entirely different business. So it really comes from a point of passion, saying, I personally think this consulting model is significantly better. And I think that's where our world is heading. So I wanted to try and get a bit ahead of the curve. So that's kind of the why behind it got built.
And that really, that's some, you have to look at things and figure out what's going to be beneficial for you, right? What makes sense. And then also, when you're looking ahead to like, where do I want to be at for the future, right? How do I envision things going for the company? Where do I want to take it? And everybody's journey is different.
Mhm.
They have different places or avenues that they want to take for the business. And it's nice to be able to have that plan thought out and laid out, and then being able to have someone that you can consult with or talk to about the plan, to be able to kind of say, okay, well, maybe I might think about this. And I feel like having that ability to be able to go out and to have a coach, to have someone to be able to help you strategically, to
Mhm.
think about a bunch of different avenues, and a bunch of different ideas is going to be really beneficial, because you might just be pigeonholed
Yeah.
down one
Yeah.
path and not realize like, oh, it's these 2 to 3 other paths that may be worth exploring.
Yeah. I mean, it just comes down to valuing, like I said, when you achieve that income level, a lot of owner operators can grow their business to 300 grand and make 100 grand. Like their needs are met financially, but then it comes to, how do we grow that? Like, because the business model, like, what got you here won't get you there. So, I'm really passionate that, our program, all the coaches actively run successful home service companies, because I think, with the internet, anyone can be anyone. And I think coaching, there's a lot of bad coaching programs out there. So we've really built ours around fulfillment, client results being really the best marketing for our entire business. And it just, like, becomes fun, man, when you're able to shift someone's mindset, thinking, man, I've actually spent the last 2 years on $25 an hour tasks. Now I see, like, a whole new track for the business. And for me, like, I worked really hard in my business for the first 8 years. And then I read the book, The E Myth. And that's where I really woke up to saying, like, I kind of built my whole program based on the E-Myth is a great book, but it's not specifically applied to, like, what are the systems we talk about work on your business. I just went ahead and made 102 of them and templated them all for our members inside our program. So that's a little bit deeper on it as well.
Well, and you have things laid out for the program. You're able to help business owners to be able to help achieve their goals. What is the core focus for 2024? Do you have anything new, exciting coming up, or anything going on in the program?
In the program, man, we've got a lot. We can't speak of all our we got a couple really big, exciting announcements coming. But one we are public about. I'm currently actually in the process of writing a book, which has been lots of fun. So it's going to be A to Z guide of how to scale up a home service company. So I've been working on it for close to 2 years now. So that's coming to the final stages. So probably going to be coming out sometime in 2025. But that's definitely been a labor of love and something I'm pretty proud about. So that's been a fun public update that's coming out that I can definitely speak on. And yeah, definitely have to stay tuned for the other stuff our team's been working on behind the scenes for sure.
All right, excellent. Thanks, David. We're looking forward to it. Can you tell the audience where they can reach you at?
Yeah, man, we're kind of everywhere. Home Service Business Coach. Probably our website, just homeservicebusinesscoach.com is great. Explains how we have helped members, explains our programs, and kind of has like a pretty extensive FAQ section. So that would be probably the best place to learn about us, man.
All right, excellent. Well, everybody, make sure you go check out David's website. And we thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Thanks for
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.